Hello, my name is Joseph McGill and I am the History and Culture Coordinator here at Magnolia Plantation and Gardens. I want to talk to you about preservation. Preservation is vital. Preservation is necessary. We tend to preserve those nice, beautiful buildings that tend to help us interpret our history. Once upon a time, the buildings that you see here in the background was not a priority for interpretation. These are slave cabins that we're in front of right now. Right here at Magnolia Plantation and Gardens since 2009. You could come here and view these cabins. You could step into each one of these cabins because the Drayton family had the wherewithal, the knowledge, and the courage to preserve these buildings. They took them back to various time periods. The buildings that you can see here that are preserved dates back, they're all built in 1850, but we preserved them to various periods of history. The first one, one to the extreme left, is restored to the year 1850. That's all these cabins were built in the year 1850. They were improvement on the cabins that were here prior to these being built. These have wooden floors, raised wooden floors. The first one is interpreted as 1850, the year all these cabins were built. They were duplexes at that period in our history. The second one that folks walk into is restored to look like the year 1930. The year 1930, there were still people living in these cabins, despite the fact that after 1865 they had a choice. They could stay or they could go. For those who chose to stay, they became paid employees here at Magnolia Plantation and Gardens. They were indeed gardeners at this particular site. The one right here closest to me is restored to look like 1969. 1969, that's the year Mr. Johnny Leach moved out of that cabin. Mr. Johnny Leach was our head gardener. He lived there for 20 years and raised 13 children in that space. And then the one there is restored to look like 1870, the time of Reconstruction, 5 years after the American Civil War. So we get to talk about all those aspects of history because these buildings have been preserved. It's much better to preserve buildings than reading a sign that says "Here once stood," if you can get that sign, especially as it pertains to African American history, especially this element of African American history that we tend to want to avoid. So we commend the Draytons for, again, having the courage, the wherewithal, the resources to preserve these buildings. So come on out to Magnolia Plantation and Gardens with us, and when you come out, go on the From Slavery to Freedom tour where we're looking for you.